Hello and welcome. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to take a snapshot of the Cardano ecosystem, a single day, to see what its pulse really looks like. We're talking growth, we're talking gains, the whole shebang.
So, the day we're freezing in time is November 24th, 2025. By focusing on just these 24 hours, we get this incredible, high-resolution picture of everything happening at once, from passionate community movements to some pretty sophisticated financial plays.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? What does it actually look like on the ground? Well, it's not just one single story. It's this wild mix of different threads, strategies, numbers, community shoutouts, and when you weave them all together, you start to see where the whole network is really heading.
So here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with that community heartbeat. Then we'll jump into the DeFi markets to see where the money's moving. After that, we are going to dissect a really clever profit-sharing model, and then we'll zoom out to see what it all means. All right, let's dive in.
First up, we've got to talk about the community. This is the absolute bedrock of any healthy ecosystem, right? It's where all the raw energy and passion comes from. It's where projects find their true believers.
And you can literally feel that energy in this quote from the Infinity Rising project. This is no stuffy corporate email. This is a rallying cry. They're pushing to get more support on big gaming platforms, and they are not holding back.
And that passion, it's aimed at a very specific target, 480. That's how many wish lists they had on Steam at this moment. This isn't some vague goal, it's a real number, and the message is crystal clear. Every single person who adds them to their wish list makes a difference.
But growing an entire ecosystem takes way more than just a few clicks or follows. It really demands a deeper kind of commitment from people. Let's look at another way that's being built.
Strike Finance is a perfect example of this. They just launched their ambassador program, and it's basically an open invitation for people to go from just being users to being active builders. It's a way to give the community real skin in the game, a chance to actually shape the project's future.
Okay, let's shift gears. We've seen the community building side. Now let's talk about the financial engine of the ecosystem, DeFi, or decentralized finance. This is where all that community energy meets cold, hard market mechanics.
So let's set a baseline here. The token IAG had an 80% gain this month. That's a fantastic return in any market. But in the world of DeFi, you have tools that can pour gasoline on that fire.
And this is where things get really wild. If you had used a DeFi platform like Surf to apply just 1.8x leverage, that amazing 80% gain would have turned into a mind-blowing 140% gain. It's a perfect showcase of how these protocols can totally transform your outcomes.
And it's not just about what traders are doing. The projects themselves are making strategic moves. On this one day, the Pulse project was just checking off the boxes. Get listed on a new exchange? Check. Submit for verification on a major player like MinSwap? Check. And actively support their own token? Check. This is a project on the move.
And they're not just talking the talk. They put 7,500 ADA, that's Cardano's native currency, into buying back their own tokens. An action like that sends a powerful signal to the market that the team believes in its own long-term success.
All right, now for our deep dive. We've seen the community and the market in action. Now let's look at how a project actually designs its own internal economy. And we have an amazing case study for this, the Melting Moons project and their Moon Miner. So first, what exactly is a profit-splitting mechanism? Well, think of it as the rulebook for how a project's profits get sliced up and handed out. It's an absolutely critical piece of the puzzle because it decides who gets rewarded for what.
And here is the initial breakdown for that Melting Moons miner. You can see everyone gets a piece of the pie. The project itself takes 15% to keep the lights on. A nice 30% chunk goes to everyone who holds a Moon Girl NFT. But then you see these other big slices. 25% for a super exclusive group called the 555 Club, and another 25% that gets set aside for compounding. Now that compounding slice, that's where the magic happens.
Because after 1 year, that compounding money doesn't just sit there. The entire 25% slice gets rerouted and added directly to the share for all the Moon Girl NFT holders. So their cut of the profits skyrockets from 30% all the way to 55%. It's a genius move to reward the people who stick around. So what about that premier group, the 555 Club? Well, they get their own 25% plus they get the general NFT holder share. So right out of the gate, as you can see, that's a massive 55% of the total profits. But after that 1-year clock runs out and the compounding share gets added in, their total take from the Moon miner jumps to an unbelievable 80%. This is a masterclass in designing incentives.
Okay, let's pull back. We've seen community passion, high-stakes DeFi moves, and some incredibly detailed economic models. So let's put all the pieces back together. What does this single day tell us about Cardano's future?
It really comes down to 3 huge takeaways. 1. Passionate community action is still the driving force behind all the foundational growth. 2. DeFi isn't just a casino. These tools are creating seriously amplified opportunities in the market. And 3. The incentive models are getting so much more sophisticated, just like we saw with Melting Moons, rewarding everyone for being a part of the journey.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. In a single day, we saw the power of people, the power of finance, and the power of smart design all firing at once. So the real question is, as we look to the future, which of these forces, or what crazy new combination of them, is going to be the thing that truly drives value tomorrow?